Hello guys, this is Holly H Designs and I will be showing you how to shade the axolotl. It's not going to require much to shade this because we're going to keep it as a more cartoonish style. However, I would also like to tell you guys some facts about the axolotl. So let's get started. Now, the axolotl is a critically endangered species, which most people don't know that because of their widespread fame, but they are only found in one location in the world, which is a lake in Mexico. There used to be two lakes where they were found, however one of the lakes was destroyed due to human industrialization. But they do really well with breeding programs through freshwater aquariums. So the axolotl does have hope for potentially being reintroduced into the wild as a species. However, as it stands right now, they are, as I said, critically endangered. So please, if you're thinking of getting an axolotl, really think about your decision because these guys are exotic pets. They need a lot of care. Most people don't know that exotic pets are not like normal pets where, okay, for example, a dog. You can take a dog outside. The dog can run around like mad, not exactly free, but you can take them out on a leash. You just basically have to walk them, feed them, take them to the vet, all this other stuff. Exotic pets require specialists. And oftentimes, and if you're not in a big city, you won't always find a specialist for the exotic pets. Most people don't know these little guys can actually live for 25 years. So they are, amazingly, they can live longer than most other pets. The only pets that I can think of that actually live longer than an axolotl are the tortoise, the parrot, and sometimes goldfish. Surprisingly, goldfish can live for a very long time also if they're properly taken care of. But most people do not properly take care of the goldfish. Now what you guys just saw me do is I just added a shade to this. This transparency is very important. I'm going to use the darken part, the darken option, and I'm going to reduce this down to 80%. That's a little bit too dark for me. It's not really showing off well, so we're going to lighten that. Gonna hit Control X. I'm going to click on these, hit Control F. I want this to act as a shadow on both the hearts inside and the big heart, so that's why it's been placed above there. However, if I want this curve to be more smooth, I can adjust the handles with the direct selection tool, as you can see here. If you want a sharper curve, get rid of one of the handles. It'll create a straight line. If you want a smooth curve, you pull the handles out. If you have no handles and you want to, for example, make some, you have to go under the pen tool and hit anchor point tool. This converts the anchor point. For example, I think that if I just click it, it does that. But if I click and drag, it will create new handles for me. Now I'm going to hit Control Save. As I said before, I kept on calling it Control Save because that's what I think of it as. It's actually the Control S button. You have to hit both buttons at the same time or else it won't save. Now with the highlight, I'm just going to go over here. That's a little bit big for me. Do this. And I would like for that to be a little bit more curved so that it's closer to the edge of the heart. See how dark that is? I don't want it to be that dark. Now, I have multiple options for what I can do here. I can screen or lighten, color dodge even, but more than likely you're going to be screening, and see how that just immediately lightens it. It doesn't matter which color you use to screen so much, because it's always going to be lighter, but if you want different effects, you want to go with lighter colors. For example, see how I'm adjusting this? And my transparency is currently 100%, but you can still see through that. That's because of the layers options. See, that's a blending mode. Almost every one of these is going to be transparent in some way. I think the only ones that aren't transparent are normal and no, hard light's also not transparent. See, each one of these can do different things. If I had this on a piece where I had more colors, it wouldn't be automatically changing them to black. See, it would be choosing something similar to what it just did to the hand. So we're going to go back to screen. I'm going to set the opacity down because that's one of the easiest ways for you to actually adjust your highlights to make them look softer or sharper. Since this is supposed to look like satin or silk, we're going to keep that sharp. If it looked any softer, it wouldn't look as realistic as what it does. I'm going to adjust this to turn it. Hit Control S. Make sure this point is going to be a little bit more rounded. With a glass piece, you guys often see in my stuff that the glass pieces don't really have these sharp highlights. That's because with a glass piece, you can go one of two ways. You can either go with the really sharp highlight, or you can go with the really light one. Let's see what an overlay looks like. Actually, I think overlay's a little bit better. It doesn't really show up on the pink hearts as well, but it's a smoother shadow or highlight, which is kind of what I'm going for. Because I want this to look soft, I want it to look three-dimensional almost. Now with this little leg, it's simple enough to change this. Basically, I just take the color and make it darker. See, that creates a very good shadow for that little leg because the leg is underneath the heart. I don't even really have to go in here and adjust the shadow. I just need to make the entire shape a different color. With the gills, the gills can have a clipping mask like the previous version had. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to do this clipping mask, but I have a good general idea. For example, I'm just going to make this shape. Take this color. No, don't do that. Get rid of the outline. And then I will be using the overlay. That a little bit like, oh, that was almost perfect. Since the gills are rounded, I can add some eclipses. I just want to do this little bit right here because I don't want underneath this piece to get rid of any of its shading. I'm going to use the Pathfinder tool. You want to use minus front if it's a new. If I wanted to minus back, I could do this. But we're going to do minus front. And I messed up a little bit there. whenever you're doing this, you want the transparency to be done afterwards. Because usually it's not going to do that. It's not going to keep the transparency on it. Where it would just be a full color like these guys are. Or it can do something really weird where it just... You have to be really careful while using the Pathfinder tool. And it's easy enough to undo a mistake by hitting Control Z. Since these are going to be a lot of repetitive movements, and if you guys want an entire compilation where I show off recording the entire axolotl and all the steps that went through it, for example, I'm just going to combine all the videos into one large video, compress it all, make it like, let's say, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then add some audio, like music to it. I always have the option to do that. If you guys would like to see that, let me know. However, you guys won't see the rest of this until the finished one, but I'm going to show you guys one last step. This last step is just going to involve me going through here, hit arrange, send it back. I had to delete it because I remember that this is part of a group. Remember, hit Control F when you want it to paste in place. Send it back, select both pieces, make it clipping mask, double click here, grab the eyedropper tool. I need to select both the stroke and the fill, so I need to go back in here. To get into there, you just double click on the icon. Do that. And that is my first gill highlight. I'm trying to keep these videos under 20 minutes. But we're going to extend out a little bit because I do want to give you guys some more axolotl facts. Just a few. We talked in the last video about how they can regenerate their body parts. This is completely true. And an infantile state. So they always look like a baby. They're only native to the one place in the world. That's why they're critically endangered. They have an incredibly large genome. And they are used in cancer cell research because of their regenerative abilities and such. These guys are very important, just like snakes. A lot of people don't know that snakes can also be used in different studies. Like, I think that there were cancer studies with the snakes, where snakes were used for like medical treatments and such, because there's some things in snake venom that can kill certain cells. So they were trying to see if those cells could be targeted with the neurotoxins. The same thing was going on with black widows and other species that have poison, but a lot of people don't like those species, so they tend to kill them, or basically they just treat them like they're terrible. But these species are very important, and they have furthered our research whenever it comes to antivenom, neurotoxins, all different kinds of things. Pufferfish, for example. Did you know that you have to be a certified chef to even serve pufferfish? Sorry about that. I'm just trying to move the one piece. You have to be a certified chef to serve pufferfish because ingest it and it hasn't been prepared properly, it can still cause death. That is one of those interesting little facts that I learned the one time. Pufferfish are also one that I really love. However, there's also facts involving pufferfish where you should never make them inflate if you can avoid it, because what actually happens is the pufferfish inhale so much water that them puffing out like that can compress their organs. Long-term exposure to that compression can eventually cause the pufferfish's organs to either... they literally crush themselves to death internally. So any of those videos where you see a diver poking at a pufferfish, they're not good videos. And that's the whole reason why. I have included these facts in my species books. Like mermaids and their subspecies and such. But I really like doing research on these animals. I would like it if more people researched animals before they really judge the animals, because a lot of these animals can save lives, and they're amazing. The simple black widow rarely kills people. People always think they're so deadly, but they actually don't have a venom that's enough to kill an adult person. It's more dangerous to children than adults. A lot of spiders, as you know, are species that kill their mates. Sorry. I'm getting a little bit distracted while I'm talking, but a lot of species do eat their mates. That's true. They get a bad rap for that. But they can also produce silk. Silk is one of the more amazing things that you can get from a spider. A single strand of spider silk is potentially strong enough to basically, if you stretched out a piece of steel to the point where it looks like just a thread, that piece of steel would be about the same strength as a piece of spider thread. So spider thread is literally as strong as steel. It can also be woven into clothing. A lot of people don't. Of course, they don't really want spider silk clothing, but at the same time, you don't. If they knew the truth about silk moths, they wouldn't want silk either. The truth about silk moths is that a silk moth, whenever... I'm not sure why I can't select that piece. Whenever a silk moth is in its cocoon, the silk moth can be... Silk moths are boiled alive in the cocoon. That's how you get silk. Why won't you let me select that piece? Silk moths are... There's domestic silk moths, which are used for silk. Their ability to fly has been physically removed. They cannot fly. I'm just gonna... doing this. Or I'll just... Okay, just gonna try and do this. There's multiple ways to get into these things. It keeps on selecting the clipping path. Reference for whenever I'm doing another clipping path. Yeah, see, that's a lot easier. And since it's already been sent to the back, I can just make the clipping back. But silk moths are boiled alive in the cocoon. The silk moth process to get silk is pretty messed up. Actually have mouth parts. Only live for about 7 to 15 days after they emerge anyways. However, you guys probably don't know that Luna moths are silk moths. Yeah, Luna moths are silk moths. The Atlas moth is a species of silk moth. Well, they're part of the same family at least. I wasn't expecting to go on a tangent with this video, but I kind of rolled with it. If you guys like the facts and you want to learn more facts about animals, I am full of facts about animals. It doesn't really matter which species. I like learning new things. I would like to help you guys learn new things. A lot of people have suggested that I start a podcast. So, I guess this is just going to be one of my mini podcasts where you basically just watch me do this. If it gets good feedback, I'll make more. If it doesn't, probably going to make more still because this was pretty fun to do. But yeah, I'm going to cut the video here. You guys got quite a few facts on these different species. And I'm going to finish doing the axolotl. But yeah. Let me know what you guys think. If I want me to write a podcast or anything like that on different animal species, I'd love to do that. But since this guy's not going to require many highlights, I'm going to cut the video here. Okay, so see you guys later, and bye!